Hey everyone, today I just want to show you my basic go-to editing for lash photos. So the app you're going to need is Facetune 2, and the first thing you're going to want to do is go to the retouch tool and then choose the cleanse tool. Go ahead and cleanse the client's skin. Basically what this is going to do is kind of blur out the visible makeup, pores, wrinkles, skin texture, discoloration, anything like that you don't want to have in the picture without it looking super airbrushed. And as you can see, when you click the two little squares on the bottom right of the page, it's going to show you the unedited version, and then when you go back, it's going to show you the edited version. So the next thing that I do after I work on cleansing is I take the matte tool, and I'm going to go ahead and also go over any shiny areas of the skin so it doesn't look oily or shiny, and then just checking it from the unedited version just to make sure I like the way it looks. Cleanse and matte are the first two tools that I always use before I go in for any other more specific targeted editing as far as like stray hairs on the eyebrows or anything like that. Okay, so the next step after that is going to be to go to the paint tool. I use the little picker to select a tone on the skin that I'm going to use kind of as like, think of it as like a sheer foundation. So I'm going to use the paint tool to kind of eliminate some of the shadows, some of the discoloration, things like that, so we have a really nice clean canvas. So when you use the tone and the paint tool, you're going to want to use the little slider bar at the bottom of the screen. See, right now it's all the way up, and just drag it down to like maybe about 50% or maybe even a little bit less, like 30%, to see what looks good, because we don't want it to look like too harsh, like she's got like a bunch of paint or like a full coverage foundation on. So basically I just do this to help eliminate some of the shadows so that my picture is going to look better when I upload it to social media. Then go back to the paint tool again. Now I'm doing the same thing, just picking a tone from the face, and I'm going to use this to kind of clean up any areas such as the eyebrows, any spots on the lashes that may look a little bit lighter and I want them to look a little bit darker and more saturated. But what I'm going to do this time is just work on those shadows again. Just keep messing with it until you get it to the point that you like it. Every photo is going to be a little bit different depending on your lighting, depending on what camera you have. So just take your time with it and play around with it until it looks right. I'm just gonna go in under her eyebrow also and try and add like a little bit of a highlight, because you can see where her brow makeup was a little bit smudged. For me, I like my Instagram photos to look perfect. I know this is not the look that everyone likes. Some people want a little bit more natural of a look. Personally, my clients always say to me, make me look good. If I'm taking their photo, most of the time they don't have any makeup on. This client did come in with a full face of makeup, but as you can tell, this is makeup that she's been wearing all day at work. This appointment was at the end of the day. So the makeup is not quite as fresh as we would like for photos, of course. So that's why I'm gonna go in and edit everything and just make it look perfect. Now, I know that some people have a problem with editing photos this much, or they feel like it's not a true representation of your work. Every single major company, they all have professionals that edit their photos. In magazines, every celebrity, everyone edits their photos. So the only reason why we're doing this is to create a more professional appearance for your professional portfolio that you have on Instagram, on your website, or wherever. We don't want to have photos where there are things distracting potential clients from the actual thing that we're advertising, which is the lashes. We want them to see the photo and go, oh my God, these lashes look beautiful, distracted by the client's skin, or they're distracted by someone who has kind of old makeup on from earlier in the morning that doesn't look quite fresh. Some people think, oh, it's not showing your true work, but I'm not editing the actual lashes themselves. The only thing that I'm editing is the client's makeup, skin tone, blemishes, fine lines, things like that. So I'm just continuing to work on her brow shape. The client's brows were a little bit thin and a little bit misshapen, in my opinion. I also do brow services, so when I post photos of my clients online, this particular client, I don't do her brows. But not everyone knows that, so I'm gonna try to make them look as perfect as I can in the photo so that if a potential brow client is seeing my portfolio online, they don't think, oh, well, that girl's eyebrows maybe don't look quite as perfect as I would like. The last thing that I want is to lose out on a potential client, a potential new client, because they saw work that someone else did and thought that it was my work and they didn't like it or they didn't think that it was very good. So the next tool we're using is the heel tool, and don't try to not go overboard with this one. I only do it super zoomed in on little hairs and things like that I want to get rid of. If you try and use the heel tool on like a larger area, it's gonna look fake and blurred out and really unnatural. So just try and use it very, very lightly, like just one little hair, heal it, and it goes away. But if you try to do a bunch of them all at the same time, it's gonna look kind of weird. This tool is great because it does give you the ability to get in there really precise and target different things. Like right now we're doing the crow's feet on this client, which really, she has great skin. She just had a little bit of creasing from her concealer that she's had on all day long. So now I'm going back to my favorite matte tool, and I'm just going to go over some other areas that might look a little bit shiny, a little bit oily. We want to have a really nice matte finish to the skin. I also sometimes take the matte tool and go over the lashes themselves if they are looking a little bit shiny. We want like a nice dark matte looking eyelash. The lashes that I use are very matte already, but sometimes they can pick up a little bit of the light from the photos. Since things are looking pretty good, I'm gonna go ahead and go in now with the smoother tool because I prefer my photos to have like a very airbrushed look. For some people, I'll upload another video showing a bit of a more natural edit. This is gonna be more of like a airbrushed glam edit. So I like to use the smoother tool, go in there and drag down the intensity of it, definitely with the slider bar on the bottom of the screen. You don't want it to be up all the way or it's gonna look really, really unnatural. Going in here again with the heel tool because I noticed that I just wasn't really happy with the way that her nostrils look. I know that sounds a little ridiculous, but if this was a photo of myself and another lash artist was putting it out there, like I would be very self-conscious of that. So I want to make sure that the picture looks as perfect as possible. So I'm just going in and trying to edit that a little bit so we don't see anything in the nostril area. And go ahead and now I'm just comparing it to the original version, the original unedited version of this picture with the two squares on the bottom of the screen. So it looks pretty good to me. I'm pretty happy with it, but I'm gonna put a filter on it and just to see how that looks too. So just comparing it now with the filter that I like to put on some of my photos. It's very light, but it does just add like a nice tone to the skin. Compare it to the original again. You can adjust things to your liking, but personally I like this filter because it gives everything a nice consistent look. I want my Instagram portfolio to look very consistent. So that's pretty much it. It's a really quick and easy way to edit your photos just with Facetune too. It's really fast, only takes about 5 minutes. You guys can knock this out in between clients. It's super easy and your Instagram is gonna look so much more professional, trust me. If you guys like this video, like, subscribe, comment, share it, and I've added a link to my Instagram as well so you guys can follow me there. If you guys have any questions at all, definitely leave them in the comments. I will do another video and address all of your questions.